Class 1. What is verse meter? Meter structure. Okay, so now it is the time to put all you know about the chanting and syllables into practice. Sanskrit poetic literature is of three types: Gadya or prose and Padya or verse, and third, mixed type. In this course, we are mainly concerned about the verse style or Padya. All Sanskrit verses are composed in strict adherence to meters that were established for hundreds of years by numerous great poets. So what is verse meter? Here's the definition that will work for most of verse meters. Verse meter is a specific order of syllables of a varying number and value in a pada, or quarter of a verse. And by value of syllable, I mean the syllables being either guru or laghu. Most Sanskrit verses are composed of 4 quarters, which are called padas. In transliterated texts, these quarters look like 4 lines, as here. Sometimes verses, especially short ones, are written in 2 lines, where each line contains 2 quarters, or a half of a verse. This is also often done for short verses in the Devanagari script. Sometimes, in such cases, you will see a slash to show the beginning of the next quarter. Next, let's look at different verse types. There are 2 of them, Vritta and Jyati. The quarters of the Vritta type are composed with specific number of syllables in each quarter, and also the pattern of syllables according to their value. That's basically was our definition of verse meter. A specific order of syllables of a varying number and value in a pada. But there is also another type, Jyati, where the quarters are measured by a total quantity of matras, or time units in pronunciation. We'll talk about it more in section 5, dedicated to the Jyati type. So in other words, we can call the Vritta type as qualitative because we mainly look at the syllables guru laghu value, and the Jyati type as quantitative because we mainly count the total number of matras per line. In this and the next section of the course, we will go over the meter of the Vritta type, where the syllables are arranged in patterns. There are 3 types of Vritta verses: Samavritta, Ardasa and Vishamavritta. Samavritta is even meter, where there is the same number of syllables in each pada or quarter. And one of the examples is a meter called Bhujanga Prayata, where there is 12 syllables in each pada. Most of the popular meters are Samavritta. The next category is Ardha Samavritta, or half-even meter. The example of it is Viyogini, a meter with 10 syllables in the first and third padas, and 11 syllables in the second and fourth padas. There are also some variations of how the padas are arranged in the meters of this type, but the common feature is that there is an alternation of 2 numbers of syllables in verse lines. Ardha Samavritta meters are more rare than the Samavrittas. And finally, Vishamavritta, or uneven meter. All padas have a different number of syllables, and these are very rare meters, but anyway, you should know that there are such. Okay, so here is a sum up of what I've been showing you so far. So we are obviously in the verse poetry. Then we are concerned with the Vritta type of verses that arrange syllables in patterns. And finally, we are interested now in the even verse meters, Samavritta. From the old books on the theory of Sanskrit prosody, we learn that a meter can have as little as 1 syllable per pada, and as many as 999. Now, I haven't seen any of these extremes in many years of my experience with Sanskrit, so in this course, we are concerned with what is actually in use, which is about 2 dozens of meters. And as I mentioned in the previous video, about 9 of them are very popular, and that's what you learn from the next class onwards.